So it hurts my heart. I see that Kanye is in the news. I don't have the heart to click on it. I saw something about he's using the kids, and I don't have the heart to click on anything about Kanye. I, it's just, um, it's just so frustrating. It has been well documented that he has a mental illness. It has been well documented. He probably has unresolved grief from when his mom passed, unresolved guilt, just a plethora of things. And he's always doing stuff, and it's like, man, get some help. Get some help. I know that he's very into. Isn't it so weird? It's like saying, yeah, he's into arts and crafts, anti-Semitism, a little bit of Nazi here, a little bit of glitter there, you know. Unfortunately, that it's not to give him a pass, but stuff like that can happen with mental illness. Um, I've had clients who were very race occupied and couldn't be around people of specific races. That can I've had all different types of clients who do that to different types of races. I've also had it with gender, not just women. I've actually had it in men where they had something really traumatic happen and then they just go off the rails. So I'm not excusing Kanye and all his stuff. It's just the same thing. Like, dude, just get therapy, get some help. And it just sucks, man. It just sucks because it's like he was such an amazing artist. Like, College Dropout came out around the time that I was that age. I don't know if I was 18, but I was definitely a teenager and like trying to decipher all through all of that. And it just sucks because he's still so talented, and it's like, every time I see a new news article, I'm like, he's doing that crazy stuff again, right? And I'm like, we're never going to get any more of his music. And like, that's so sad. It's so sad, but you know, I wish that he could get the help that he needs. I would wish for the people around him to help, but it's really hard. So Kanye just keeps on breaking our hearts and real, 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 real crappy in the process. You know, I like to check in with my celebrities that I know have had mental health struggles because recovery is non-linear. It takes a while, and I'm just like, I hope they're doing well. I hope they're they're doing okay. So I checked in on Brittany, and Brittany hurts my heart because it's been very clearly documented what society has done to her, what her family has done to her. I don't think that she's ever had a genuine connection with somebody. um there's so much issues that she's had to dealt with. So many people failed her. Okay, let's be honest. And there was a video of her son playing the piano, playing pretty well, and you're like, wow, awesome, beautiful, great, proud mama. He's playing really well, so beautiful. And all she had to do was stop it. Just just press that button right when he's last chord. That's all she had to do. But no, she had to continue the video. And we have to see, it looks like they're like high, right? Listen, no shame in the game, whatever. But it's like when you have health issues and then your son, and it's not the time or place for it. Like, doesn't have to be recorded because, there's been so many struggles in that family, and then he just is going really out of it. And then Brittany's like, I felt it in my ass. And like, you have like a nice mansion, but like, if you close your eyes, you'd be like, is this like a street corner in LA? Is this in Newark somewhere? What's going on? And it's just too much. She had it. She was doing so good, and she just had to keep recording. Just keep recording. I would love to just have a day camp where I take Kanye and Britney, and I take away their phones and their social media, and we can just do like some CBT, some DBT. We could just do some art therapy, just something instead of whatever y'all are doing. Um, and it's just that reminder, you can have as much money as they have, but if you don't get the proper treatment or or you don't have proper support, the mental health issues are just going to continue and continue. Right now though, I guess Pete Davidson is doing pretty good. He got rid of his tattoos, so that's a win. That's a win. So yeah, just just put the phone down, Brittany, please. Okay, so we have to check this bitch. Okay, so in more celebrity gossip, we got to check in with my boy Ben Affleck. So I got him up there. He did a little GQ interview. He addresses the J Lo breakup, and really, he's not saying nothing really. He looks debonair there. But then this is the thing. It's like I want to like Ben Affleck, and then he goes and like stuff comes out his mouth, and it's just like the light goes away. So I'm not really sure what it is. I have my phone here because I'm gonna look at the article because there were some quotes. Okay, but we got him up, right? So this is his interview for GQ. Okay, so listen to what he says, right? He's like, there's a tendency to look at breakups and want to identify root causes or something, but honestly, the truth is much more. I had to look this word up. Quotidian. Then probably people would believe or would be interesting. There's no scandal, no soap opera, no intrigue. There is no, this is what happened. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? First of all, okay, I had to look up that word. I had to pull out my thesaurus. Quotidian, of or occurring every day, daily. Okay, no, Benny. No, it is not of or occurring every day that someone has multiple marriages. Yeah, in the celebrity world. Yeah, but you're talking about the general public and why they have interest in this. General public, it's not a common occurrence that people are getting married 5, 6, 7 times. Yeah, there's some people like that, but that's not a super common experience. And it's also not a common experience to create a documentary about somebody getting back with their ex, calling it the greatest love story never told, and then doing this whole production about someone who they end up divorcing in like 2 years' time. Like, what, the whole time they were making that? Did it happen like did it get to production? Like, was the product finally done and then you guys divorced, or did you guys like there was probably stuff going on while this was being made, but like no, it's not quotidian, Ben. And like this is why does he do this? Like, is it because of GQ? Is it because he has the pocket square and he like real quick he was like, let me get, what's the word of the day? Quotidian, quotidian, quotidian. I think I can make it work. I can make it work. um yeah, also most relationships, there usually is a reason or like numerous reasons. And it actually is for someone who has a background in psychology and psych rehab. It is very interesting. It's interesting to see people's behaviors. It's interesting to see the choices people make. I saw that documentary and it was a hot mess. She comes out with all her other wedding dresses. Like, it is a study into the psyche of J Lo. And there's a lot of narcissism on display. But let's keep going. Okay. It's just a story about people trying to figure out their lives and relationships in ways that we all sort of normally do. Yes, we all sort of have multi-million dollar multiple weddings, and we get back with our ex and we all have the money to create this $1 million documentary about it. It's very quotidian. It happens all the time. All the time. sometimes, and then he said, he's like, you know, it's true for most people. There is no so and so did this or this was the big event. Have you never seen Mrs. Doubtfire? When Robin Williams, he throws that party with the little donkey and the animals and the petting zoo, and Sally Fields is like, "That's it, we're done." That was the camel that broke the straw. So it was probably a lot of things that have built up over the years, but sometimes there is a big event. Sometimes there is something where it's like, I've kind of I've not been dealing with this. I've just been going on. I've just been, just surviving, but there was an event that it was like this, I couldn't do it anymore. Sometimes that does happen. So I don't know why he's trying to act like that never happens. I don't know. If he were to explain the ins and outs of their breakup, he added, it would sound more like a couples therapy session, which is fascinating. That is intriguing to people. I guess not everyone is very astute, but there are a lot of people that are very astute that can pick up on people's body languages, the minute facial expressions, how they communicate, the insecurities that people have, the issues or trauma from childhood, and how they're being replicated. Humans also will replicate the relationships that they have with their parents in a romantic relationship. That also happens. If you had a parent, and we usually go with the parent that was most difficult or the one that struggle to meet our needs. Our brain will like replicate that because we're trying to resolve that. So it is fascinating. I don't know what Ben is talking about. It's like you're trying so hard to be like, it's not this big deal. It's what are you talking about? Gaslighter with his stupid little frames. Gaslighter. No, no, no. And then, but then here, I wonder if he talked to Jennifer Gardner. Because remember, she did that interview when she was talking about the phoenix tattoo that he got on his back. And she was like, is that supposed to represent me? Am I the ashes? She's like, bless his heart, which is very Southern, which is Southern colloquialism for F you. Did he hit her up and he's like, how should I do this? Because the next thing he says, okay, clearly this person has got these issues. He's talking about J Lo. What are we trying to do? Get your quotidian ass out of here. You're slipping it in. You're like, yeah, she was the problem. She's a narcissist. Like, who goes and makes this whole? Who gets married like 6 to 7, 18, 19 times? Who knows at this point? Gets back with their ex and is like, you know what? I'm gonna make a documentary. I'm gonna make a documentary. Do that when you've got like 10, 15, 20 years in. Don't do that when it's like, it's like the little baby deer and you've got those little fresh little wobbly legs. Like, let it breathe, let it thicken like a nice bouillabaisse. What are we doing right now? What are we talking about? But okay, clearly this person has got these issues. Clearly they have these issues. He said it twice. Boy. Okay. Okay. And the reason I don't want to share that is just sort of embarrassing. It feels vulnerable. You see that? You see what we got to do? He wants to say so hard, like, hey, you guys saw her. She's a little bit of a narcissism. She's a little bit of a narcissist. And it is embarrassing to go and create this documentary about this great love story. Um, it was very much her desperate need for attention. Everyone was like, remember all the memes that came up that was like, oh my gosh, if they can get back together, we can get back together, and it's like a blast from the past. And then other people were like, hey, just because J-Lo got in touch with her ex, don't you do it. You know what I mean? Like it was this cultural thing. So what are we talking about? Hmm. Hmm. And then he's downplaying his involvement in it. Although her film was inspired by her relationship with Affleck, inspired, it was the whole it was she that was a big part. That was her launching pad. What are we talking about? Affleck only made a brief unrelated cameo in the movie. I saw when he came up, and he came up at the end. And yeah, he looked, me and my friend, my BFF, we watched it together, and it was like, it looks like he does not want to be here. He doesn't want to be here. He's not into this. He's always been a private person. And then there was another. article where it was like, she shows like these mementos, these letters that he has sent her, these private things. And she's like, isn't this cute? Isn't this nice? Look at it. Look at it. Look at me. Love me. Love me. And it's like, girl, oof, to be a fly on that wall. Let's see. As Affleck explained, he decided to appear in Lopez's documentary even though it was out of his normal comfort zone. Yes, everyone has noted that. We know that you're more reserved and she's really into attention. We know this. Everybody, people, that is very simple to see. My temperament is to be a little bit more reserved and private than hers. Mm-mm. It couldn't be me. It really, really, really couldn't be me. I, it couldn't be me. Like it does suck like when you have a breakup with somebody, right, that you have to tiptoe and like on the one hand, yes, it's like there's decorum. um some things should be private, but like the fact that we have to pussyfoot around, we can't just be like, yeah, he did A B C D. Like I know that that's too much, but it's like we're not talking about like he doesn't have to tell us like on the 15th of April she did this with my kids. No, but you can, what people clearly see, you can be like, yeah, she's a narcissist and she really likes attention and I'm not like that and that doesn't fit with my morals or values. you know I would say that you have to pussyfoot around. My temperament is to be just a smidge, just a smidge, just means she's making a documentary about us getting back together, but I'm just a little bit more reserved and private than her. If J Lo could show you her colonoscopy, she would. If she could, if when she gets a Pap smear, if she could take you on a journey through her birth canal, she would. What are we talking about? As happens in relationships, you don't always have the same attitude towards these things. Yeah, that does happen. And so I thought, oh, this is interesting because how do you reconcile that? Apparently, you get divorced. What are we talking about? Affleck wanted to show his support for Lopez by appearing in the film. I love and support this person. I believe in them. They're great. I want people to see that. And I think the thing that I said in that documentary, or the piece that they used, was where I said, you don't marry a ship captain and then say, well, I don't like going out in the water. You've got to own what you knew going into any relationship. You don't marry a ship captain and then say, well, I don't like going out in the water. Probably don't marry the ship captain. That's the thing. You could just not get married. Like there's a lot of conversations that should be had beforehand and in relationships too. That's something I've had to learn. You have to there all of those hard-hitting conversations should be had. Took me many years in therapy and being in school for this to figure out. I'm still learning how to communicate. It's not easy, but those conversations, how are we going to raise the kids? Who's going to be the breadwinner? What are we going to do with in-laws? What are we going to do with parents as they get older? uh I'm very involved with my family. Are you okay with that? I also want to make space for your family. Because those are the three big ones, right? It's kids, I think it's finances, kids, in-laws, right? How are we going to handle our money? Separate joint accounts. Oh, you like to go out a lot? I'm a homebody. Are we going to make compromises? Have these conversations beforehand. Beforehand. They both had children. Those children got to get close to each other. You know what I mean? Like have these all of that stuff should have been handled beforehand. You guys are what, in your 50s? You guys are not spring chickens. You can J-Lo pranced around in all of her 15 wedding gowns. And it's like, ma'am, yes, you look beautiful, lovely. You're up there. You should have some wisdom. You should have some sense about you. Come on. You've got to own what you knew going into any relationship. That is true. That is true. That is true. You can't get into a relationship with somebody like that and then have a Pikachu surprised face like, What? What? I didn't know. It's like, yeah, you knew. What are we talking about? I think it's important to say that wasn't the cause of some major fractured. There are different approaches to celebrity. It's not like you can watch that documentary and go, oh, now I understand the issues that these two had. No, me, when this came out, they were still to, I'm pretty sure they were still together. I'm pretty sure me and my friend Camille, we watched it before anything happened, and we looked at that, and I was like, oh, they're not gonna last. I'm like 92% sure that happened. But you could look at that, and I was like, I, you see everything that goes on. Something else that I pointed out. I am going to do a review of that. But she talks about love, and she only mentions being a mother very, very briefly. And me and my friend Camille, we talked about that. We were like, because I'm not a mother, my friend is. We talked about how impactful that love is, um, how that changes you. That should have been focused on more. What about genuine friendships? What about other family members? What about friends? Like, she only did romantic love, romantic love, romantic love, and I'm like, she's really only in love with herself. If we're honest, that's what it appears to be. He described his divorce as drama free. Okay. I'm sure in your mind you're thinking, oh, well, you just got divorced. That's not drama free. Okay, see, this is where I like Ben because it's like, yeah, that is exactly what I'm thinking. Thank you so much. And I understand that instinct. Okay, the little talking down. This is where, and now my like is going away, right? But all of this is pretty adult. You're in your 50s. What a pretty adult. Shut up. Stop. What are you? You're not in your 20s. What are we talking about? And for all the sensational stuff that's getting written, if somebody sat down and talked to me about it and I said, well, this is really the experience, their eyes would glaze over with boredom. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. No. If any of my loved ones made a whole documentary, a whole production about getting back with an ex, and then they get divorced, I would sit down when we have the when they're ready, right? When they're ready to sit down and have a conversation with me. You don't think I'd sit there and be like, "So, are you ready? Cuz I'm ready." Okay? Bells on. Bells on. And it'd be the same for me. Like I also would have friends, and I am that type of person to like put my hand on your shoulder and be like, "No. We can't you do need people to like rein you in because I've been there. I've treated the internet like it was my own journal after a breakup. Not the best look, not the best look, and you need people to be like, hey, 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 come here, come here, you look crazy, you look nuts, let's talk about it. Okay, you need that. That was not why. You see the gaslighting, this is why I don't. You want want to like Ben because he does seem like he has a sense of humor and stuff, but this little BS makes me just dislike him. Hmm. 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 There was something else that he said that I wanted to. There was another word that I had to look up. Oof. Oh, I lost it. But there was like two words that I had to look up. Oh, somewhere he said this about Jennifer Lopez. She's like, she handles celebrity. I had to adroitly. And I was like, what? Again, had to get out my thesaurus, and it said she handles celebrity in a clever or skillful way. Can you just imagine him just being like, we all saw the memes, we all saw how like exasperated he looked by her, and he's like, okay, the attention whore, like what's another way that I can workshop that and say it nicely? The source is like adroitly, I guess. Attention whore, adroitly. Yeah, make it work. Um, Very interesting, very interesting. Ben really wants us to just like move on. But it is interesting. It's an interesting study into people. Yeah, they're celebrities, they're still human beings at the end of the day. And it is fascinating. So don't believe everything this gaslighter is saying to you, right? The other thing too is like, I'm not a proponent of looking into people's marriages when they are private. Okay, we're not talking about Denzel Washington, who is very mum on his wife. It's just he has a marriage, a long-standing marriage, proud of his wife, he has his children, respectable, they keep their business to themselves. No, we're talking about a woman who made an entire documentary. Get out of here, Ben. Get out of here with that nonsense. Egg on both your faces. But yes, very interesting. And then I want to do a review on that because that was a whirlwind. But I'll talk to you guys later.